My phone rang late at night and the panic in my son's voice hit me before he even finished the first sentence. He said, "Mom, this doesn't make sense. I just saw her name on my passenger list. She's on my flight." And at first I laughed, thinking stress had gotten to him. Unnoticed, I tried calling her phone while we stayed on the line. No answer. The plane took off somewhere over the Atlantic. My son said he couldn't stop thinking about her between procedures and controls. His mind kept replaying memories. His mother waking up early to pack his school lunches, working double shifts as a hotel housekeeper so he could take flying lessons, selling her jewelry to help pay for his pilot training. She had always put herself last. Always when the plane landed, my son rushed out as soon as protocol allowed. He scanned the arriving passengers, heart pounding, afraid and hopeful at the same time, and then he saw her. She looked smaller than he remembered, standing near the exit with one small suitcase. She didn't see him at first. When she finally did, her face froze. Not with joy, with guilt. She tried to smile, but her eyes filled with tears. He walked straight to her and asked the question that had been tearing him apart. "Mom, why didn't you tell us?" She couldn't answer right away. They sat down in the terminal, surrounded by noise and strangers. And that's where the truth finally came out. She said she didn't want to be a burden anymore. Her health had been getting worse, medical bills piling up, and she felt like everyone already had their own lives. She had applied for a caregiver program overseas where she could work lightly, live cheaply, and send money back instead of asking for help. She said she was proud of her son, proud of all her children, and she didn't want to be the reason anyone slowed down. My son broke down right there in the airport. He told her that all his achievements meant nothing if she felt invisible. He told her he had carried her sacrifices into every cockpit, every flight, every success. Other travelers watched quietly as a pilot hugged his mother like a scared child. That day changed our family forever. She didn't get back on another flight. She came home with him. We learned a lesson that still hurts to think about, that sometimes the strongest mothers suffer in silence, believing love means disappearing, and sometimes the wake-up call comes at 30,000 feet when it's almost too late. But the story doesn't end there, because in the following weeks we discovered layers of her life we never knew she had taken on: side jobs, helping neighbors, walking dogs, cleaning homes, tutoring children online through a small platform to make extra money without ever telling anyone. We found old receipts and notes tucked in drawers, documenting payments and deposits she had made to our accounts secretly to cover small emergencies. She had never complained, never once sent a message hinting at stress or fatigue. Everything was concealed behind a calm, composed smile, a smile that hid dramatic happens until a phone call, a hospital visit, or a flight reveals the weight they carry quietly every day. My son and I started having long talks. After that flight, we would discuss how to support her, how to ensure she wasn't overworking herself, how to make sure she could feel loved and visible. We coordinated her schedules and even set up small surprise deliveries of her favorite food, books, and flowers to remind her that she is seen and appreciated by us. That's when I realized that sometimes the most dramatic life lessons come not from our own struggles, but from seeing someone we love endure silently, and realizing the importance of recognition, the importance of love, the importance of communication. Mothers like her don't ask for help because they believe they should be the pillar, the rock, the constant in everyone's life. But what happens when the rock starts to crumble quietly, unnoticed? And how easily a family can fail too. See it, we begin documenting these moments secretly, recording short interviews and voice notes. She agreed once she realized it might inspire other families to check in on their mothers, to notice the quiet sacrifices, the invisible labor that forms the backbone of every household in America, in particular with rising bills, healthcare costs, and the fast pace of life. Many families overlook the small but profound ways in which mothers contribute. And as we shared her story online in an anonymous format, we started getting responses, messages from people across the country sharing their own stories of mothers, doing things quietly, of mothers working extra shifts, of mothers skipping meals or hiding pain to ensure their families thrive. It became clear that her story was universal, not just a personal family drama, but a mirror reflecting a larger truth: the strong, silent mothers who hold up their homes without complaint. And that realization made my son even more protective and attentive toward her. When she came home, we instituted small routines: morning tea together, quick chats about life, simple things he never missed a call anymore, and they bonded in ways that had been impossible before that flight. She told him stories of her youth, of challenges she faced alone, of hopes she held and dreams she had once had. And well, they laughed and cried together. My son realized that true success is meaningless if it comes at the expense of noticing the sacrifices made by loved ones. And while the months passed, we continued to expand our awareness, sending regular check-ins, helping with bills, coordinating medical appointments, and most importantly, learning to say "I love you" to the woman who had given everything silently without ever asking for recognition. Because at the heart of it, the story is about connection, noticing each other, validating efforts, and ensuring that no mother feels invisible, especially in a country like the United States, where everyone is busy chasing careers, ambitions, and social validation. We wanted to create a culture in our family where visibility and appreciation were constant, to honor the invisible labor and sacrifices, and that became a daily practice. We celebrated birthdays, small victories, her health improvements, milestones, in small ways, large ways, and each time she felt acknowledged, we could see the relief and warmth in her eyes, and that awareness reinforced the lesson that mothers carry immense invisible burdens. And sometimes it takes a dramatic event, a high-stress phone call, a flight across the ocean, to make us realize that this is not just a story about one mother, but about every mother in America who quietly endures. And that awareness transformed the way our family interacts. We now regularly check and call, daily schedule meals together, plan short trips so she can enjoy life without anxiety. And while she continues to contribute in her quiet way, she also knows her presence is valued, celebrated, and her efforts are visible to those who matter most. And that realization has changed us forever, making us more attentive, more compassionate, and more connected. This story has now grown into a testament to the sacrifices mothers make daily, silently, unseen, and recognized, and serves as a reminder to everyone watching that love is expressed not just in words, but in attention, care, and acknowledgement. And that even a flight 30,000 feet above the ground can become a turning point in understanding the profound weight carried by the ones who raised us. The weeks turned into months, and each day brought new insight into the quiet strength of my mother. She would wake before dawn, brew her coffee, and prepare her small garden in the backyard, tending flowers and vegetables. She never complained about the aches in her back or the sleepless nights. The quiet resilience she displayed was something my son and I came to admire and document. We started capturing her routines using photographs, short videos, and written notes. Every gesture she made, from folding laundry carefully to checking that all bills were paid, reflected her enduring care and devotion. We shared these stories online under a pseudonym and received hundreds of responses from viewers praising the quiet heroism of mothers across America. People began sharing personal anecdotes of their mothers working overtime, skipping meals, hiding illnesses to provide. For their children, it became a movement, small but significant, inspiring families to notice and appreciate the silent sacrifices that too often go unseen. And as our social media posts circulated, we began receiving messages from strangers offering help, advice, and simple words of encouragement. My mother's story became a symbol of love, dedication, and resilience, and through this attention, she herself began to open up more, expressing her feelings, discussing her fears and joys, and while she remained humble, she began to embrace the recognition and the care she had long deferred. We realized that recognition and communication could transform family dynamics and strengthen bonds, making life richer, more compassionate, and more meaningful for everyone involved in the household. And as the seasons changed, my son and I continued to accompany her on small trips, visits to the doctor, grocery stores, and neighborhood events, each outing a reminder that her presence mattered and that she was valued for more than her labor or silent sacrifice. The story spread to friends and extended family who began implementing similar practices, checking in daily, sharing meals, and most importantly, taking time to genuinely notice their mother's small gestures and unseen contributions. And with each passing day, the weight of invisible labor lifted, slightly replaced by warmth, affection, and mutual respect. And our family learned the priceless lesson that care, acknowledgement, and appreciation are as vital as financial or material support, and that sometimes the smallest gestures, like asking about a mother's day, how she slept, or what she needs, can transform her entire experience of life. This awareness created a ripple effect in our lives, neighborhoods, and online communities as families everywhere began sharing stories and tips for recognizing and supporting their mothers, showing that empathy, care, and acknowledgement can be cultivated and nurtured, and that the story of one mother's courage and silent sacrifice can spark change in countless households. And eventually, this realization shaped our family traditions. Annual gatherings focused not just on celebrations, but on gratitude for the enduring contributions of the women who hold families together. And slowly, my son and I found ourselves more attentive, present, and empathetic, not only to my mother, but to each other and friends and colleagues who witnessed our example, began adopting similar behaviors, recognizing that the quiet heroism in ordinary households deserves attention and appreciation, and that love is not only expressed in words but in awareness, presence, and thoughtful gestures. And as my next